Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Um, this is Let's Chat. I have a few things to talk about today. Answer some questions. A lot of the questions you guys asked me, I'll probably try to answer tomorrow when I upload The Story Continues. Okay. There are a few things I want to talk about. Like I was saying, I did some channeling, some heavy meditation and channeling with my guides last night before bed, and some this morning. I realized I hadn't channeled with them for a while. The last time I really had a one-on-one was the 19th, when I did all that heavy meditation. I greeted them, every day. And when I've been doing personal readings, but we haven't had a sit down, an intense one like I usually do every now and again, more often than I was. I just wasn't. Not for any particular reason. I think I needed space. I don't know what I needed. I just was working. That's basically what living life sort of thing. I wasn't ignoring, obviously I'm doing this work, but in terms of like sitting down and asking them questions and getting messages, and when it was like very quick. I wasn't sitting and meditating and, but anyway, I got a lot of messages. And when I was meditating, oh man, I lost track of time. I looked up and it was, 2 hours later. It was crazy. So when I was doing this, I had finished a personal reading for someone. It was around midnight. And I just felt the urge to chat with them. So that's what I did. And so much time went by, I hadn't even realized. But I got some interesting things. I got some very interesting messages for you guys. And it's a lot going on in this country. It's a lot going on in the world. I feel a lot of, I was fine yesterday. Actually, in terms of the exhaustion I was feeling, I've been the past 2 days feeling pretty good. Not exhausted, sleeping, still feel I'm able to shield myself better with all of the, all of the emotions that are just running rampant with what's going on here in our country alone. So I've been okay there. People I've noticed in my life have been, outside of my clients, have been reaching out to me to talk about what's happening with our country and the White House. And so, just kind of giving them advice. And, it's heavy. It's heavy stuff. It's heavy. And I remind people that we are not helpless. Like I talked about in our last Let's Chat. Absolutely not helpless. But I did channel with my guides, asking them a lot about the situation and our circumstances. Okay, so I'll share that with you guys. I wrote down what I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I have 7,000 subscribers now. That is insane. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you guys listening, for promoting my channel, for sticking with me, for your feedback and your questions and your emails. I'm just appreciative. I never thought ever that this would be. I never thought that like I said before, like I talked about, I was gonna abandon this channel because I just didn't like what I was doing. It wasn't what I set out to do. But now all that's changed, and this election experience was the second catalyst, I would say, for me opening up to and integrating into my gifts fully. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy the community. I'm so grateful that this community has been built up, and you guys are so kind and caring, and for the most part, you talk to each other with respect. We support each other. It's what I manifested, and so always looking for a community of like-minded people. And if I on the side note, if you guys comment something snarky and I comment back snarky, but you're able to still comment, it takes me so much to block someone, and there's no harm done, really. I for the most part don't take things personal, but if I am snarky, that happens. Snarkiness in communities with families and friends, and it doesn't mean that you are banned, or unless we all know what would take me to block someone. But for the most part, you guys have been great. Even when there's snark or a criticism, that's fine. But thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Thank you for those of you who are patient with me when it comes to asking for personal readings. It takes time for me because my hands are in different pots. So I try to get through at least 2 to 3 a day if I'm not in sessions. It depends on what things I'm starting to adjust now. So it's I'm starting to adjust to the new routine of doing personal readings. So it's getting easier, but it does take time, and I appreciate all your patience. And sometimes I'll overestimate my abilities. I'll be like, yeah, I can do this many. But when I sit with someone's questions or, their problem they want feedback on or reading on, I like to take my time and really get to the nitty-gritty of it. I want to give you your worth, your money's worth, okay? So so it does take time, but I hope it seems people have been satisfied with what I have been giving back to them, okay? But if you do want a personal reading, and I always forget to talk about this. I always forget to just promote myself. I'm not good at that. Because it's not that it's the furthest thing from my mind, but it's not the first thing on my mind. Always the first thing is I want to get information out, and so I forget all the other stuff. But if you do want a personal reading, you can go on my Ko-fi page. The link is always in the description, guys. Okay, the description and the video. So if you press more, you'll see meaning the description that is, my mind just went blank. The description of what the video is about, okay? But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can email me at moonlighthenergy15@gmail.com, and I will send you the link to the readings that I offer. Okay, I'm still adding more more readings, thinking about what, you know, what I want to, what other readings I want to offer. Okay. And you could go also on my Ko-fi page. I'm trying to post there more. It's slow going, but if you want to support, if you want to, and again, guys, thank you for those who have been just sending support, you know, just supporting me monetarily. I appreciate that. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm so grateful and I appreciate that as well. But if you just want to follow me on there, you could set up your own account and follow me. You can email me, you could send me. I'm okay with that. I try to answer everyone as much as I can. I see everything. You guys know I like the heavy interaction. Okay. What else? What else? Okay, I got the promotion stuff. But yeah, you could follow me. You could follow me on Ko-fi. Okay, guys. Okay. How long have I been talking so far? Oh, okay. Yeah, time has been very interesting lately. It's been going by so fast. I blink and time is like crazy. And I was supposed to actually record way earlier than this. I was supposed to record maybe around 12:30, but Scooter decided he wanted to fall into some mud in the backyard. It was crazy. He's looking up at me, I'm looking down at him. So I had to bathe him. He is not like baths, so I had to bathe him and had to blow dry him. He does like that. He doesn't like being cold. So then suddenly I just went on this cleaning rampage. I was sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. Did a load of laundry, and then here we are. So, but that's fine. Scooter's sleeping right now. He's resting. But I'm here. I'm here now. I made it. And very delayed, but that's okay. So what's going on? What is going on? There's a lot going on in the world. A lot of talks about the Canadian report came out about election interference. And a Canadian MP is calling for Elon Musk to be investigated. It's just so much stuff. What else? If the French government wants to investigate him, or they are investigating him, for election interference. Like I said, I saw this. Like I often get a vision of him in handcuffs. He will be arrested. Again, guys, everything I say here is alleged. Okay, for informational purposes only. All that jazz. Yeah. So yeah, I often see him. His consequences will be dire. And if you haven't seen Rosie's Insights channel with Rosie and Karina, watch their latest video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got the gist of it. But basically it's pretty much in line with what I saw. What I talked about in The Story Continues video 25 and 26. Where my guides told me to focus on Jack Smith and what he said to me in his channel message. They have to do this outside the realms of the U.S., because of the court system. So that's very interesting that they're starting to see that too. So watch that if you haven't, guys, and also rewatch my The Story Continues episode 25, 26. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can watch the channel messages. Okay, there's a lot going on. Is there a lot going on with NATO? I don't think I looked. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but let's see what's in the news. I saw something, but I don't think I wrote it down. Okay. NATO sending Kiev $40 billion. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at something. Interesting, it says that Mark Rutte and talked about, with the defense secretary, talked about building a stronger, more lethal NATO alliance. Interesting. Well, anyway, moving on from that. There's a lot happening. I'm sorry, my mind just, I was thinking, I have 50 tabs open at the same time, guys, okay? So bear with me. So what do I want to start with? Questions? Maybe I could weave it in and out. Weave the questions. I'm not going to do a lot. A lot of the questions, I can't answer, honestly, right now. I'll probably answer them tomorrow. I see a lot of panic in your guys' questions, and it does something to me emotionally. It makes me feel, I could feel your energy, but I understand your concern with everything that is happening. And like I said, I'm looking at things from a broader perspective as opposed to the smaller details of what's happening and what's going on in the country in terms of like EOs and the healthcare. That's gonna be fine. I keep being told that, not to say like don't worry, but the energy is pointing to he's not going to be able to gut healthcare. Okay, there's going to be so much difficulty for him. There's going to be a lot of difficulty for him, for their administration. Okay, but things are, I just saw a comment that said, things are ramping up. Yes, things are ramping up very heavily. I feel, the situation, I have been sort of waffling between like, I'm still calm. I don't feel afraid. I've been sort of waffling between frustration, like, man, this is this is crazy, and like the other part of like, okay, but it's not the same, was what I know. It's not the same. We're not in the same space. No one is. And so that keeps me calm with all the things that, it's I feel everyone's upset, and so it's heavy that, but those sort of the smaller details, I'll keep seeing that he is going to have a difficult time. He's going to have a difficult time because even the people that wanted him, they are not on board with some of them. A lot of people are not on board with total destruction, and it made me think of, I have been thinking a lot about how big this is and how broad it is and who is at the center of it, you know. And I keep seeing, allegedly, guys, Vladimir, you know. It's like I'm not gonna channel him. I don't want to be in his energy. It's something sinister about this person. I see him and his face pops up every now and again because he is at the center of this destruction. And it's scary. Okay, so he wants complete annihilation of systems. He is, you know, he has this look on his face. And even before I integrated, I would watch the news and they would show him, and I would always, you know, I always knew when being a therapist or a clinician, I always sort of knew. It was very rare when it would happen, but I always would know when I was talking to someone that had an antisocial personality. And it happened to me. It's very rare, this diagnosis, but I've encountered maybe 2 or 3 clients that I knew for a fact. And they have this look. They have this look in their eyes, and they do something with their mouth that he does. It you know, I'll get this feeling in my stomach, and very rare. Probably I remember specifically 2 or 3 clients that I had years ago that I just knew. But yeah, that he has that look. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, but I want to get into one question I keep seeing coming up regarding how I channel and regarding my abilities. And I get questions like, are you channeling people's higher selves? Can you tell the future? If so, how? Sort of thing. So let's talk about my channeling. Okay, so there's many things happening when I channel. When I first started channeling, I did not know that's what I was doing. This was probably 2 years ago. I had no idea that's what I was doing. I would close my eyes and focus and just start hearing things. I would focus on that person and I would start hearing things. And I would write down what I was hearing. It started in 2020 with my guides. I would hear their voices when I started paying attention. And then I noticed that I could do that with other people's energy and hear things that maybe our regular ears can't hear. Okay, so that's called clairaudience. Being clairaudience, you could hear beyond the veil, you could hear your spirit guides, you could hear things that, it's like an extra set of ears. Okay, and so I'm not necessarily, it doesn't matter what plane they're on, I could say, from my understanding. I'm still learning. I'm expanding, you know. But I could touch on someone's energy. I'll ask my guides, please channel me to so-and-so's energy. And the first thing that I will feel is their personality, you know, or I'll feel how they are feeling as I channel to them. I can feel good energy, you know, so it's I can feel when it's bad energy, like Clarence Thomas. I got out of there. It was not good for me. Like it was sludge, mud. I could get a sense of what they believe. I could get a sense of, I do it all objectively. Okay, so if I notice something that's interesting about them, I'll share it, even if it is in complete opposite of how they behave and what the public eye sees. Okay, So it's not necessarily that I'm speaking to my higher self, speaking to their higher self. I'm just reading their energy. And when I see sorry, my mind went blank. When I see what started, as the more I started to do this, more recently, the past few months, I would get visions. Now I could see things, which is clairvoyance. Okay, I didn't think I wasn't touching that with clear. I don't know, but now I'm comfortable. So hearing is clairaudience, one of the clairs. And seeing is clairvoyance. When you can see things that the naked eye can't see. Okay, visions, images. I am precognitive, so yes. I guess to answer your question, can I tell the future? Yeah, I can tell the future. I would prefer not to. I don't like knowing the future. It's not fine-tuned, I can say that. Sometimes I could predict something and say, this person will do this. This is what's going to happen. And it happens. That's happened to me numerous times. It's happened to me in readings. I feel like I could be wrong, but the closer it is to the moment, I can predict what's going to happen. Because energy changes, we have free will. So I could look at possibilities in terms of like premonitions. I do get those, mostly in dreams, and in my feelings, my emotions, when I know like, oh, something's gonna happen. And in dreams, I if the energy is very, very intense, and usually my premonitions are warnings or something that I don't want to see or to happen will happen. So, for example, I talked about this before, I think, but 9/11, I was young. I was 17? No, I was 16 going on 17. The whole night before September 10th, I was feeling very anxious and sick to my stomach. And I didn't know why. And then as I'm falling asleep, I hear explosions, pretty intense stuff. And then 9/11 happened the next day. Around that same time, the plane crash in Queens happened. I dreamed about a plane crashing in front of our house. Everything was on fire. And I woke up to the news, and a plane had crashed. So those sort of things. More other things too. Usually very intense dreams. And a lot of deja vus, and I'm like, no, this happened. It's usually because I had premonitions in my dreams that something happened, or an event happened. So yes, I think I can answer. I can tell the future. Is it always precise? No, because energy changes. Okay. So I don't think I'm talking to their higher selves. I can touch on someone's energy and be like, wow, this person has gifts, or I could feel it in their energy that they themselves are intuitive and powerful, and those are the sort of things I could feel. Like I could feel someone's energy is fading or weak. And fading doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, they're about to die or anything. It could just mean like there's some mental or emotional stuff going on, their behavior, something like that, that makes the energy feel flimsy. Like Donald Trump's energy feels very flimsy now. Mike Johnson's energy, his energy is just, I've never encountered someone whose energy is like his, where you could just walk all over him. I would never do that, but that's what it felt like. So those are all examples. I hope I answered you guys' questions, okay? Let's move on to what I channeled with my guides. So let me go to my notes. I pulled, oh, I didn't write it down. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll do that tomorrow. But so I have some messages for you guys. The first, I was asking questions. They were answering my questions. And I asked, what is a message I can share with you guys about what's going on? Okay, and I think this message may answer some of your questions. Okay, I find, like, the thing about our guides is they impart wisdom, okay, and the knowing that we already know inside. It may be locked up somewhere, okay, and they do it in a way that's like, you could take this or you could leave this, you could accept this or not, okay. And so I always feel that in their energy, okay, and I always accept what they're saying. I can't question them. Not that I can't, that's not the right word, because I have questioned them, but it's like, for me, they're telling me things I know already. They tell me, you know this. They're like, you know this already. But anyway, so they said, I asked them how, and when I ask my guides, they know what I mean. Any question that I form, they know what the intention is. They're not tricky. They're not, tricksters. They want my best interest. Okay. They're there for my best interest. And so, if I'm doing a reading, or if I'm using my tools, if I'm using my rods or whatever, they know what I mean. Like, they know what I'm asking them. Even if I ask a question, they'll give me the answer that I'm supposed to have. Okay? They ain't foolish. They don't play around. Oh yeah, these gems. This is the same cellite crystal with the geometric shape. Okay, cellite is for protection, emotional protection, psychic protection, protecting your energy. Okay, and this is a peach moonstone. I'll show it to you guys. Okay, and this is for emotional healing. One of the benefits is emotional healing. Okay, so I figure we need that energy here. Okay, all right, so let's see. First message, I asked them, what can we do? Why, what can I share with them about how we could cope with the circumstances in our country? And they said, it is only possible to breathe through these circumstances by letting go. The divine light is with you. In letting go, we will learn the lessons taught to us by the universe. And then I asked, how do we let go? And they showed me a vision of people hugging. And then I heard, by loving those you feel you are close to. By being in your heart space. Okay, so your heart space is your inner knowing, guys. Okay, it is the space of love, the space of acceptance, the space of healing. Okay, is where you can accept and understand your feelings and what they are telling you. Okay, being in your heart space. So not being in a space of fear, not being in a space of panic or anxiety or even anger. Okay, that is not the heart space. It's in being in alignment with who you really are. And that's what I sort of talk about a lot. We have to reflect a lot now in this circumstance, in the space that we find ourselves in. And we will find on the other side that we are much stronger than what we are being told we are. We are not helpless or abandoned, or it's not hopeless. It's not the same. And I just want people to see that it isn't. And I know it's hard to. It's not the same situation. We are in such a different world now, but some people, I think people I think people are catching up with that. I see it. They're just like, something weird is happening, but they don't quite know what's happening. Okay. And so I asked, what are we supposed to think about DT, Donald Trump? Okay. And they said, know that he is only here for a moment in time. There's more work to be done with him only at this stage. He will have resistance and difficulty. There are things you cannot see yet, but he will suffer. He is suffering. And I wrote here because I sat with that for a moment, and I felt my guide's compassion for him. Okay, I wrote here, I felt their compassion for him. And then I said, which made me feel compassion for him as a human being. Okay. And then I wrote, but they also know he deserves it. He deserves the suffering. Like I talked about in my last video, The Story Continues, he's ignoring everything wrong. All the red flags, all the warning signs, all the stop signals, all the caution signs, he's completely ignoring it. And so for that, he's beginning to suffer. He is suffering. And, one human being to another, it's hard to call him a human, but he is nonetheless, I guess. He's being judged, and it's not going to be okay for him. Okay. I asked about Elon Musty, and I said, what are we supposed to know about EM? They said, quick, he will be arrested. And they showed me the same vision of him being arrested, and he's wearing the gray sweatsuit. He's wearing like it's like not like a gel jumpsuit. It was just like something he was wearing, like workout clothes or something. It was like a gray zip up, and he had a matching t-shirt on. It was open, and he had his arms behind his back, and he had gray pants on. That's what I keep seeing. I said, when? They said, this is where they just be speaking. Anyway, they said, there are many moments in time when this will happen. And I said, what? And then they showed me a vision of a hand drawing circles. A vision of a hand drawing circles. That's what I saw. And it made me immediately think of the show I like to watch, where the main character was talking about politics. And the show is Peaky Blinders, FYI, if you guys watch that, I don't know. But he was talking about politics, and this particular season was before World War II, and they were in the midst of like fascism basically was rising in England. And he was talking about he's a socialist. He's an MP in the British government. He's talking about it made me think of that for some reason. I don't know why. The circles. He said if someone goes far enough left and someone goes far enough right, it creates a circle. And then you have nationalist socialism, Nazism, basically. And it made me think of that. And I said, maybe that's why they showed me, they do associate media with me. That's how they give me messages to understand what they mean. I'm still kind of processing what they meant, though. But it was something about Nazism that they're trying to tell me. Okay. And then I said, can you explain what your answer meant? And he said, there are many eyes looking at him. He will know the true consequences of his actions. That's what they said. Okay. And then I asked them, what can you tell me about Kamala? What can you tell me about Kamala? And they said, Kamala will be here. And I said, where? And they said, where you wish her to be. She has her destiny. She knows what it is. And I said, do you know what it is? And then they said, her destiny is to change the world. And he kept saying it. It was so, it was so, I don't know how to describe it, how I heard it in my, it was like different guides saying that over and over. But they kept saying, and it was like, I wrote repeated. It was like echoing, but it was different entities saying that. It was so interesting. They kept saying, her destiny is to change the world. Her destiny is to change the world, over and over and over again. And then I said, okay, when? And then I heard time will tell. Oh yeah, before that I said, how will this happen? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up. They said her destiny is to change the world as she sees fit. But they kept repeating it. Her destiny is to change the world. They kept repeating that. And then I heard, as she sees fit. And then I said, how will that happen? And then they showed me an image of her holding a manila envelope. And then I asked, when will this happen? They said, time will tell. And I asked, what does the vision mean? And they just said, you know what it means. I don't know. I have to think about that. I probably do. I probably have to watch my videos back, or maybe my last reading that I did for her. But they were so surefire that I knew what the envelope meant, what the envelope was. I saw her looking down at it with a serious expression. She was holding it in both hands. And then suddenly, I was sitting there. I didn't know what else to say. So I was like processing all this. And I was like, how do I know? How do I know what it is? I'm still thinking about that. And then I heard Kamala's voice say Dominican, I heard her say Dominican Republic. I don't know what that means. I went down a rabbit hole Googling things. Only thing I saw was from 2020 Dominican Republic election when they had to reschedule the voting because something happened. It was a glitch in the machines. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe it's something. Sometimes I'll channel things. I'll get messages, or I'll hear things that hasn't happened yet. Okay. So I'm not sure. Keep your eyes out, I guess, for the Dominican Republic. I'll do that. I'm not sure why I heard her say that. Anyway, moving on from that, I asked them, I was hesitant to ask, when will this be over? Because they told me not to obsess, but I'm not obsessing. I'm not. And they just said, this will end soon. But I know how time works with them and with people in the physical. And I sat there for a moment and I said, okay, when? When do you mean by soon? All they did was show me a vision of flowers blooming. That's what I saw. Okay, maybe springtime. I don't know. Springtime when? I couldn't tell you. Okay, but that's what they showed me, flowers blooming. And they showed me that this morning too in the scrying mirror. So yeah, I did some scrying. I don't know if I'm not going to show my mirror in the camera. I don't want anything, anyway. So I did some scrying this morning under the covers. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. Again, I like to do difficult things, but I asked, what is the outcome for DT and his administration? And I was there, I was looking at the mirror. First thing I saw was fire. And I'm seeing fire shooting up. Okay. I saw just red. That's all I saw. And then the red was slowly, the mirror is round. Okay, so it started from the top of the mirror, the fire shooting up, and then it was fire slowly, and my eyes were following it from the top of the mirror to the bottom of the mirror, the slow moving. Then I noticed I said out loud, is that a volcano? And then as I said that out loud, the picture became even more intense and clearer, and the fire I saw was lava. It was slow pouring lava, and I started to tear up again. I didn't feel afraid, but it made me tear up as I was looking at this image. Okay, it was just spewing. It was like the lava was spewing up like fire. Okay, and then it showed me coming down in chunks, the lava slowly moving. And it reminded me when I said, Elon is like when I mentioned volcanoes in my reading before last, was it 25? No, in 26, where he is the vinegar you pour into the school project, and it explodes. And that's what they showed me, and I'm still processing what that meant. I looked up what volcanoes, it means many different things in different cultures, and religions. Okay, power and creation. It's it says as a metaphor in Western culture, volcanoes are as a metaphor for explosions in human life, such as personal, cultural, or political explosions. Okay, they said in some religions they represent a sign of divine anger. In Christianity, that's a sign of God's anger. Okay, which I thought was interesting. It says volcanoes can represent creativity, birth, and revolution, which I thought was interesting. It could be a sign of divine revelation. The smoke, fire, and quakes of volcanic eruption can be seen as a parallel to divine revelation, which was, I think that's what had made me tear. Sign of divine anger. That's what made me tear up, I think. My ears are ringing so heavy right now. Some cultures, eruptions are seen as warnings. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. I'm still processing. What that means. But I asked, what is the outcome for him and his administration? You think of volcanoes, it's complete destruction. It saps the air, the heat, the smoke is dangerous. And this carbon monoxide, like this is just complete. And I said what's the outcome for them, not of them. I didn't mean what's the outcome for us. I meant for them. So the slow moving, but not slow moving, this eruption, like I said, that's so interesting. Okay, so that's that one, what I saw in the mirror. And then I asked about MAGA. I see many things about them, and like I said before, there's a psychology to these people. A lot of them hide that they are. And there's my theory about them, a lot of them turned away from him. A lot of them are it's alleged, okay, but there's this psychology of, one, brainwashing, two, what I kind of know is that a lot of them, this hatred that they show, I think it's like they have their own mental health problems, and they are depressed people, and and this isn't excusing at all, but this is what I see, is the way that DT is, and when he was campaigning and saying everything is terrible, and they're like, yeah, because they believe that. It's more than just hate. The hate that they spew is because what's going on internally and spiritually with them. There's a bankruptcy there, and a disillusionment with their own lives, and it's a projection. And so he kind of affirms what they're feeling internally, that everything is dark and terrible, okay, and that these are these people's faults, that their lives is so quote unquote hard, and so they're being judged. Anyway, my guides told me, I asked what's the outcome for them. I said, can you tell me the outcome of MAGA? And they said they will follow him to the sun if they have to. They know no better. Many of them hide in plain sight. And I had to sit with that for a second. I said, hide in plain sight. Many of them hide in plain sight. And I immediately thought, like, many of them hide. There's more of us than them. And this isn't an us versus them thing, but I'm talking about in terms of ideology. And there's different shades, but anyway, for the most part, there's more of our ideology than their ideology, okay? They hide in plain sight. Maybe, there's some of them that almost are ashamed that they're MAGA because they know it's wrong. But there's a need being met for them. There's need being met for them with this behavior and this way that the violence and the aggression and the hatred, like I said, is a reflection of what is going on internally. But anyway, I could write a book about that. But they said, my guide said, many of them hide in plain sight. Many will turn their backs on him. And then they said they are being judged. I said, okay. I know we are impatient. We need patience in these situations with these people. Not with them. I mean, like, with this moving forward. And I see a lot of questions of when will this happen and what will happen. And I ask, they tell me soon, they show me flowers blooming. That definitely could mean springtime, but they don't. I asked also, I just used so many tools yesterday too. I was heavy in it. I asked, you guys asked me, like, when is Kamala? Is that possible? I still see her there. And the energy always says yes. Is she taking the seat? And it says yes. And I asked, will Donald Trump be president? I asked, will Donald Trump be president for the next year or 2 years? And it said no. I'll show you. I can only read the energy. I can't tell you specifically, you know, I guess there's some readers that are doing that. We all respond to the environment differently. We all interpret things differently. I can only interpret what I see and what I'm being told. I can only share that energy, okay? I try to keep things as objectively as I can, and I'm not saying other people aren't doing that, but I like doing this objectively. I will always be honest. You know, I like to keep it real. So if I see anything opposite, I'll tell you that. Okay? All right. You guys see that? Let's raise this a little bit. Okay. Let's test it. My name is Amy. My name is Amy. No? Okay. So this way is no, guys. For me, no. And this is yes. Okay? This thing is a little... My other ones swing a little heavier. I'm assuming because it has more... The chain is longer. Okay. Donald Trump will be... Let's see what it says. Okay. Donald Trump will be our president into the year 2026. Donald Trump will be our president into the year. It's swinging no really heavy. You guys see that? It says no. Okay. You know, people are like, how could that happen? You know, I get it. I get that he's in now, and it's difficult to remove someone who is the president of the United States. It's not an easy feat. But I don't know how that would happen, how Kamala would take the seat, but that's what the energy is telling me. And they're telling, like, this will happen the way no one expects it. Okay? And I think the pieces are coming together. We're starting to see a shift in how, you know, what we are looking at here. Let's see. I saw something about a whistleblower. Let's see. Will a whistleblower come forward? Will a whistleblower come forward in the year 2025? Will a whistleblower come forward in the year 2025? Will a whistleblower come forward? Saying yes. It's saying yes. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Okay. You know, it's like, I want you guys to, I see questions like, when is this happening? It makes me shake. No, I'm joking. I see those questions and I'm just like, or why is this taking so long? And I often think about how long investigations take, how long it takes to really build up a case against someone. And I'm not saying this will take long. I feel like he's been being looked at. This whole thing started, like I said, with the documents that he absconded from the White House, and he didn't give it to the National Archives. This is when this all started. This is when it started. Really, like, kicked up, I mean. Really kicked up when they were like, oh, crap, what is he doing? And whatever Jack Smith discovered, is heavy. And I don't know if the second report will come out. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it feels like it's not ready to be released. It feels like it's not the time. I don't know why. Let's ask. Let me ask the pendulum. I feel like it's not. Anyway, let's ask. Will Jack Smith's second part of the report be released anytime in 2025? See, look, it's saying no. And it's swinging a heavy no. That's what I'm saying. I think that is something that is just being, whatever he discovered, I'm beginning to understand is, and that's so, I kind of dismissed. I didn't dismiss, but I was like, he's a small, my guys were just like, don't pay attention to him. And all of this was before the inauguration. And when I read the first part of the report, I was like, oh, those are things we knew already. But the second part is something he discovered. It's so bad that it is a bigger piece too. This maybe the smaller piece is the second part to a bigger thing. Is what I'm beginning to understand. Okay, so I want you guys to understand how much I emphasize how big this is and how deep this goes. Okay, and who is at the center of it. So patience is needed, and I know it's hard, but really I just want you guys to turn it off. Turn off the news. Just don't obsess over every little thing that this person is doing, because you are feeding something bad. When you look and you pay attention to what MAGA is doing or saying, those people are lost. They're gone. And they are lost. Okay, so you have to focus on yourself, focus on your life, be with the people you love, okay, and breathe through this as much as you can. He's going to have a lot of difficulties with all the things he's trying to get healthcare and public education. Like, sir, and it's just like he's doing this complete destruction. And it's not just him, though. It's not just him. It's not just him. I feel like who just is allegedly working with Russia. I don't. It's so scary how this web. Oof, 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 oof. And I'm not just, you guys, Rosie and Karina I'm so in alignment with them, the things that they say and the things that I have been saying and also seeing, it's also not just, it's so many people. It's not just conservatives, It's not. And I'm not saying, I don't trust liberals. I'm not saying that, but I'm beginning to understand. I'm beginning to understand the depths of things. And not everything is the way it seems. We know that already, but beginning to understand we have to even think further. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull a tarot card for you. This is my Alice in Wonderland deck. I've had this deck for a while. I just rarely use it. Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorites animations because it's so fitting. It's so fitting to my life. I'll show you. This isn't a promotion, but this is the deck. Okay. Alright, so let's pull a card for you guys. Wow. Okay. Alright. You know, I see a lot of people, like I talked about before, saying no and defying and any forms of oppression in this country, and boycotting, and even maybe even looking for other avenues of governance. And I don't know why, but I keep always, when I think about this, I always hear the word bartering systems, you know, and I always, my guys have been showing me, when I was younger, I had a social studies class, and they used to teach us all about everything, the government, you know, old systems and things like that. And there was an activity we did, exercise we did where we did bartering, and they keep showing me that, and it's interesting, but I sort of feel like that's what's going to happen with prices going up possibly, and there's power in people is what I keep being told. People are going to say no. Heck no. People are tired and fed up. This is more than, you know, just MAGA being whatever they are. But this is serious stuff here, where systems are exploding, and we're being shown flaws that we very well know of in our system. This is like the volcano. This is the volcano, and everything is going to have to be changed. I pulled Knight of Spears. Knight of Spears. Knight of Wands. Okay. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. Card of the day for you guys. Oh wait, let me pull my thing down. So a Knight of Wands is about creativity and inspiration. Knight of Wands is about creativity and inspiration. Okay, it's about what is it about? My mind just went blank. Sorry, it's about energy, a surge of energy, bringing forth something. Okay, it's about taking action to finish what you start, sort of thing. and completing tasks, fulfilling goals, and it's about being fearless. Whenever I see wands, I just think of fearlessness. Okay, going in and rushing in and not letting anything stop you from moving forward the way you want. So, in the circumstance of what we are dealing with as a country and as individuals, we still have to live our lives. Because even though things are chaotic and things do sort of feel out of control in a sense, we are, it doesn't mean it has to stop us from moving forward the way we want to, with our plans, with our life goals, with taking action. When you think of a knight, when you think of the word knight, it's someone rushing in. It's someone there to protect. It's someone there to protect your king, your queen, your family. Okay. It's all about, with the wands, taking action in a fearless way. Okay, so I think that's what the message is for you guys, for all of us. You know, being full of energy in life, not being afraid to try new things, not being afraid to be uncomfortable, not being afraid, period. Okay, and I talk about that a lot. I talk about this with my clients a lot. You know, we have a choice. We could be on the ground like they want us to be, or we could be on our horse, rushing towards a better life, taking action in some way, taking care of ourselves, taking care of each other, okay, protecting one another, getting involved, saying no. And saying no doesn't mean, it could mean different things for all of us, okay? So saying no could look a different way for each of us. Saying no could be like, I'm going to continue on with my life, and I'm going to continue on with my goals. You know, I'm going to get help and talk about these overwhelming feelings that I'm having, and it's uncomfortable, but I have to do it. So it could look different for all of us, but it's really about fearlessness. It's really saying, I'm not helpless or hopeless or hapless. I'm strong. And we have faced hard circumstances as individuals before, as a country. We'll get through this on the other side. Okay? So that's your card of the day. And that's also a little lesson with tarot cards. I know you guys have been asking. Path of Light. I love these cards. Expansion. It says, I'm always growing, expanding, and evolving. With every experience, I expand my understanding and deepen my connection to the divine. I welcome change and new possibilities, knowing that each step forward brings me closer to my highest potential. And that's literally what the Knight of Wands is about. Okay, let's pull one more. Compassion. We sure do need that around here. I open my heart to others, extending kindness and understanding without judgment. Through compassion, I create bridges of connections, healing not only myself, but also the world around me. I offer my empathy freely, knowing that is serving others. I grow stronger in love. And that's what the card looks like. And this is the message. Very nice. One more. I love these cards. Faith and freedom. I have calmed my mind and entrusted my doubts to God, or whatever you believe in. Okay. Releasing them all. I trust in his perfect providence. I'm sorry. I trust in his perfect providence and surrender to his will. Finding true freedom in the peace that comes from letting go and having faith. Didn't I just talk about that? There's the message. Okay, guys. All right. So that's all I have for you. I will be uploading The Story Continues tomorrow. I will be channeling the main players, okay, and pulling cards. And I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye.